Okay, this will be a super short video. We're looking at mitochondrial DNA, also DNA that's in the chloroplast, kind of another little thing we'll mention at the end. So mitochondria does have DNA in it. It's a little bit different, looks more like bacterial DNA, so it's kind of just a small circle of DNA, but it still holds genetic information, right? So it's still important. The weird thing about mitochondrial DNA is how it's inherited. So I know my picture's kind of blocking it. I have an egg cell and a sperm cell, both are enlarged, right? So you can see them a little bit more clearly. But we can see we have nuclear DNA right here, and you can't see it, but in the capsule of the sperm, there's nuclear DNA. So that's that DNA kind of we typically think of, right? Inside the nucleus, it's going to divide out all the same. We also see that we have these mitochondria, right? And so we will call this, and I'll go into this on the next slide, we call it non-nuclear DNA. So non-nuclear inheritance is how mitochondria is inherited. So they both do contain DNA, which means they have to be inherited somehow. But the zygote, right, so when the egg and the sperm come together, we have fertilization. That offspring, that kind of unicellular offspring at the time, only gets the mitochondria from the maternal side. So the egg cell is the only thing that gives the mitochondria and the mitochondrial DNA to the zygote. So we all have the mitochondria that our mothers had, that our grandmothers had, that our great-grandmothers had. We could trace that kind of female lineage through our families if we wanted to, using the mitochondria, because it all only came from the mother. To kind of give you a visual for that, that's why we call it non-nuclear inheritance. So our nuclear DNA, right, kind of the genes inside of our nucleus, regular chromosomes that we think of, that came from all of our ancestors. So it's a combination of both maternal and paternal sides throughout our family lineage. Mitochondria, on the other hand, like we said, is really strictly kind of contained to the maternal side. So we could trace it back to our mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, we could keep going, but that is the only place we get that mitochondria from. So mitochondria is maternally inherited, which makes it really different from the rest of our genes. End of this video, chloroplasts work the same way. Chloroplasts and mitochondria in plants are also maternally inherited. So they're inherited from the ovule, which is the female reproductive organ in plants. So when a plant reproduces, it comes from the plant egg cells, so we still call it maternal inheritance or non-nuclear inheritance. But that's your fun fact on mitochondrial DNA. You get it all from the maternal side.